A champion revert, 5 champion nerfs, 15 champion buffs. What could this mean? That's right, it's patch 11.19. What's up, Game Weeper? Rhyming Jizz back at it, and in today's video we will be revealing all of the 11.19 changes and what they are going to mean for the Summoner's Rift landscape. So to know which champions to learn before next patch hits, make sure to stick around for the whole video and let's get into it. Now in yesterday's video we talked about 12 leaked champion changes, but 2 of these have already changed. Now they are only minor, but the first of these is the Aatrox. So instead of buffing your passive, Ryder actually targeting your W's cooldown, and at rank 1 this is going down 6 seconds. And this is awesome because you're not going to be maxing your W until the late game, so having this on a 6-second lower cooldown for the laning phase and mid game, this is huge. And it's a bit like that Mordekaiser buff from yesterday what we talked about, where his E is going down 4 seconds at rank 1, and this is very similar, it's just on steroids. 6 seconds is huge, and this is going to make your laning phase a lot scarier to play against, and because you'll have your W more often and throw it out more often, you are going to get more kills and kill opportunities. And the second of these changes is to Gwen. Now we talked about yesterday how a base health regen every 5 seconds is going from 7 to 8. Well, this is simply going up to 8.5 now. So a bit more sustain in the laning phase is going to be good, especially since the attack speed nerf and your E a few patches ago. You know, because you're not winning trades as often, this is going to help you in the aftermath of those trades, regen back to full HP. Now let's get into the rest of the champion changes here, and there are 8 champions we have to talk about, and we're going to start in the mid lane and talk about Fizz. So guess what? The 11.18 changes the right put into Fizz, which are actually a net nerf for Fizz, these are all getting reverted. So the passive, W, and ultimate changes, these are all going back to what they were, and instead Ryder buffing your E's cooldown at later levels. So at rank 5, this is down 2 seconds. And think about this as well, once you do get ability haste with Lucidity Boots, Sonya's Hourglass, whatever it is you go, your E in the mid to late game might even be on like a 4-second cooldown. An E every 4 seconds, that sounds crazy to me. And because you are going to max your E first 95% of the time, this is huge and will definitely be felt by everyone playing Fizz. Doesn't matter what elo you are, this is a serious buff. Now the second and last mid lane we have to talk about who is getting buffed for 11.19. This is Gragas. I don't know, Gragas isn't a mid laner, but seriously, Gragas with Hextech Rocket Belt is seriously underrated, and what Ryder doing in 11.19, they are buffing your W's AP ratio by 10%. Now it doesn't matter that much because you are going to max your W last, and it's not really going to come into play until the late game once you do have a lot of AP from your items, but it is still a nice buff. Whether you're playing jungle Gragas as well, top lane Gragas, wherever you're playing Gragas with a bit of AP in your kit, it's still a buff, so something to have a drink over. Now let's head to the top lane, guys, and talk about the only other top lane change we didn't talk about in yesterday's video, and this is coming to Renekton. Now think about Renekton. In the last few patches, he has been nerfed to oblivion, but this patch, I feel so sorry for solo Renekton only and his fans that they are buffing your base HP by 15, they're giving you more HP per level, and your W animation, this is getting sped up by 13%, and the lockout, this is going down. So what that means is that when Renekton himself W's, he actually kind of stuns himself because he's locked in that animation. Well, you're going to be locked in that animation for less time now, meaning you can do more damage. You can auto attack, you can Q, you can do whatever you want after that combo. You've got more free time to deal damage. And these are great buffs, to be honest, because in solo queue, Renekton is nowhere near as powerful as he is in pro play. The only thing is, these are probably going to mean he's going to be picked and banned in pro play still, but in solo queue, everyone should be happy about these. More HP and more HP per level means you're tankier and harder to kill and gives you more sustain in the laning phase. Your W animation sped up overall by 13% is unreal. So Renekton mates, tell me down below what you think of these buffs. Are they enough for you in solo queue? Now let's head to the bot lane, guys, and talk about the only AD carry in 11.19 getting changed, and this is the Varus. So what's happening is that your Q's cooldown at later levels is going up. Now at rank 5, because you do max your Q first, remember, this is going up 2 seconds. And this is certainly meaningful because as Varus, if you're playing lethality Varus anyway, with Dustblade and all that, you're all about your Q's poke and damaging enemies from afar. Now having this on a higher cooldown means that you're not going to be poking as much and dealing as much damage, and I guess kind of the saving grace is that Dustblade gives you so much ability haste anyway in itself and via the mythic passive, so it's kind of not that bad if they nerf cooldown, but it's still significant because you rely so much on the Q cooldown. So Varus mains, let me know down below what you think of this change. I think it's a bit too over the top, but again, he will be picked a lot in pro play, so hopefully this doesn't hit him so hard in solo queue, but we'll have to wait and see. Now we're going to stay in the bot lane, guys, and talk about the 2 supports who are getting nerfed for 11.19. Now one of these is Sona, who is the best champion in the game right now according to the win rate department, and what's happening to Sona is your base armor is going down by 2, and you also have 2 bug fixes here. So your Q no longer hits enemies Sona cannot see. So what you could do before, if enemy champions were in fog, so in bot lane brushes for example in the lane, you could Q and it would hit them. And the second bug fix is to your E's power chord, so the slow does not ignore slow reducing effects. Now both bug fixes are definitely warranted, but the armor nerf is a bit of a hit because in the laning phase you are very squishy, and if you get jumped on, you are most likely going to die if you don't have your flash. But I still think it's fair because Sona is so oppressive at the moment, you know, since her rework and a new aficionado stacks. But despite this, these nerfs aren't exactly big compared to other champions, so Sona in 11-19 will still have one of the best win rates, and there isn't really any reason to panic just yet. Sona mains, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And the second support getting nerfed for 11-19, this is Soraka. Now remember, last patch, Riot buffed Soraka's ultimate, so it actually ignores grievous wounds that are applied to targets you are healing. Now this effect is staying in the game, but because it is pretty broken, Riot are actually nerfing your ultimate's heal by 20 in the early game up to 50 at rank 3. And this nerf honestly seems pretty good just because your ultimate is still holding on to that grievous woundless effect, and if you're healing a teammate for 20 less, then it's probably not going to matter that much, to be honest. As long as you're ignoring those grievous wounds, which you still will, it's all good. Now the last two champions, guys, who we have to talk about for 11-19, the first one is Kiana, and Riot really want Kiana to be played in the jungle, so what they're doing is buffing your Q's damage to monsters by 25% up to 150%. Jungle Kiana has seen a lot more play recently, but let me just say that her win rate in Master and above is 43%, so even the best in the world are still struggling. So will this change make her viable? Probably not. But the more important buff coming to Kiana is that the Q and E combination is slightly more forgiving for short dashes. Now this sounds really whack to me, because what does that even mean? Slightly more forgiving? And this nerf that came in last patch where your E and Q won't actually work on targets that blink or dash or go out of vision, like there's a lot of ambiguity here and we don't actually know what slightly more forgiving means. Does it mean that you're now going to E and Q onto champions who go in fog? Or does it mean that it works half of the time now? Like, what's the go, Raider? So Kiana, mates, I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments what you think this actually means and what you want it to mean as well. Now the last champion getting buffed for 11-19, this is Sejuani. And what's happening for Sejuani is that your Q's cooldown in the early ranks, this is going down by 2 seconds in fact at rank 1. And this is awesome because you are probably going to be maxing your Q second or last. So having this on a 2-second flag cooldown right off the rip, awesome. And its damage is also increasing by 10 at each rank. The only issue here is that your Q is kind of hard to land against players who have their screens turned on because it's kind of easy to see it coming. It's pretty telegraphed. But just the fact it's on a lower cooldown means you can get around the map more. In skirmishes, you might get 2 or 3 off. And the damage going up as well means that if you do actually hit it on a stun target, or if you just hit it, that wombo combo with your teammates is going to be more powerful. So these are nice buffs to Sejuani, and we may well see her played in pro play. In fact, at the moment, she has a 54% win rate in high reloads. She's very consistent and reliable, so we'll have to wait and see if she gets picked more. And those are the rest of the 11-19 changes, guys. Please leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. Any comments on the changes, leave them down below, and remember to check out the Game Week website on your way out for all your League of Legends needs. The Gist, that's me, is uploading anywhere from 20 to 30 videos a month for our subscribers, and along with our other Challenger players and coaches, that adds up to about 20 videos a week. That's how invested we are in helping you improve on the Rift. So for that exclusive content, get signed up. Links in the description and comment section. And until tomorrow's video, hit that subscribe button. This has been The Gist.